We're at the highest altitude of the season here tonight for round 19 of FLH Season 3B. Welcome to Mexico and welcome to F1 League Cup Season 3B, the best place to seat yourself for a bit of Wednesday night commentary. So hello to everyone, and we've got a full lobby once again like last night. We're actually starting to fill up a bit. We do have a few reserves in tonight. A few people cannot race, but we are keeping up the traction here of almost full lobbies of just the people who are actually racing. So this is just all coming up Millhouse, if I do say so myself. But anyway, I need to pop up a track map, as you do. And I probably need to charge my phone at some point because it's on 10%. But we do not care about my phone's battery whatsoever. We care about the Mexican Grand Prix ahead. A two-stop strategy, actually, which I found out last night at the last minute. But it can be done very differently. For example, last night we saw differentiating strategies with people like KLC starting on the Hypers, Simsy started on the Ultras, and John Polainen started on the Supers. Everyone having their different tyre compounds that they like to use around here. Personally, I thought the Supers were the best for me around here, but I didn't get on too well with them in the race. But in qualifying, I could find quite a few temps, and I was only around 4 temps up on our lap on the Ultras compared to these tyres. Here we go, a lap now starting with Short as he goes down one of the longest straights of the year, coming towards turn 1 for the first time. Turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3 in the chicane sort of section of the track as Composite gets out of the way. He gets a bit of slipstream from the Williams driver, now brakes into turn 4 and turn 5, another left-right chicane. And then comes the next two right-handers of turn 6 and 7. You've got to get this absolutely perfectly. And Short has shown that he does a lock-up in there. And Brendan Lee hasn't given him the right strategy to do that corner right. Now comes the long S section. It looks like he's run a bit wide there, but we know track limits. A bit of an alien thing around here. Sometimes they're ridiculously strict. Sometimes they might as well just be in space. They're literally on and off all the time. Mike Azafati set the first lap, and Short is about to come round to the final few corners as he exits the stadium section now, losing a bit of traction on exit, going through the final corner to the line. Now what time will he get? He'll get himself a 1:16.478, and straight away we see some good times, and Drop J's just gone quickest on a set of super softs, way ahead of Mike Azafati and Sumo the Pito. So there you go. There is the Mexican Grand Prix circuit today, and that is the track. I'm just gonna grab a little diagram, if I do say so, just to make sure I do have the correct one. It's quite a linear circuit. Almost looks like a NASCAR circuit with just a bit off the edge, but it's a very fun circuit, I can tell you that, to drive. As John Polainen, a guy who was in the race last night, has just gone and set a 14.4 on the Ultra Subs, only about 2 tenths quicker than Drop J on the Supers. Verstappen, he was up in the podium last week, and he's got himself in one of the podium positions on the qualifying at the moment. But Brumadinho has just gone fastest on a 14.2 on the Hypersource. He did not race last night due to a boxing match. I don't know how that went, but hopefully he did win that, and he did one for F1 League Cup there, as we're starting to get a few viewers now. But Fretti almost he feels like he's a bit let down now by himself. He's down in the championship by around 50 points or something like that. Mathematically, I believe Drop J can win. I believe it's a 51 point gap. So if Drop J wins the Grand Prix, and if DeLuca wins the Grand Prix and Fretti finishes outside the points, DeLuca will be the champion of F1 League Cup Season 3B. As we see Fretty coming into the pits now. Goldie or GG is just on an in lap. Wesley, I believe he was in the race last night as well. He did quite well, I believe P4. There was a bit of a malfunction at the end, and he has lifted off out of that lap. As Nick is, I believe, coming into the pits now. He did not set a lap time, most probably invalidated, as Jazzy is actually quicker than a few people today. Well done to him. But we see probably a lot of different tyres. Let's have a look at the tyres everyone has set their fastest lap on at the moment as we come into the end of the first stage of qualifying. So Brumadinho, pole at the moment with a 1:14.2 on the Hypersofts. Then John Poline 2 tenths behind on the Ultrasofts, and Fretty only about half a tenth behind him. Verstappen in P4 on the Hypersofts as well. Drop J with a 14.6 on the Supersofts. Drop J's lap is actually very good, only 4 tenths behind Brumadinho's lap, and that was a 14.2, and Drop J got a 14.6. That is a great lap from him. We'll have a look at Wesley. I believe he's on a lap at the moment. We're just going to have a look at lap data. Looks like the Dutchman is on a lap at the moment as he goes through the middle sector now. So I really need to charge my phone, but I'm not going to do it at the moment as he goes through turn 10 and turn 11. There's only 17 corners on this track. We see up to 21, I believe, but this one is mainly filled through the chicane sections of the track. Now going down to turn 13, and then 14 and 15 shortly follow for the Dutchman, looking like a very clean final sector there from the Dutchman. He comes to the line of 14.961 on the Ultrasofts, which gets him a P6 at the moment. A good lap from him as people are now starting to do their outlaps. Composite comes into the pits. Vinicius in the pits, and Nick is also in the pits at the moment. Verstappen just letting someone through. That's his teammate of who's that his teammate tonight? That is Mike Azafati right ahead of him. He's on an outlap as well. But it looks like Mike Azafati needs to warm up his tyres a bit quicker. I'm not sure about tyre temps around here. It looks like I didn't try the Hypersofts personally last night, but I do believe that the Hypersofts do go off quite quickly. So if you're setting a lap on the Hypersofts, you've got to be going into the pits quite quickly. As Mike Azafati is on his lap now, as we see the Red Bull Renault powered car, not the Honda yet, but it will become Honda soon, coming through the first sector now as he passes our camera. Going into turn 7, gear 7, and then down the gears once again, going up again and then going down into the corner. A very weird strategy, but it has worked for the lads in the Red Bull. Going up once again the gears for the middle sector. P8 at the moment, not a bad lap time from him, and we're not going to spectate him for the whole of the lap, as we need to have a look at one certain DeLuca 96 on his lap at the moment on a set of Hypersofts. So we're expecting something of a dream lap here, as Bruma is on a set of Ultrasofts. We'll see if he can get displaced from the top spot. DeLuca did race last night, but I believe he did crash in the middle sector, so hopefully he will not die again, if I could say that. But yesterday was kind of a practice race for today. But Fretty, knowing that he needs to get as many points as possible in this race to keep in that championship fight, needs as much practice as they can get. Both of them raced last night. One for points, one for pride. DeLuca for pride, Fretty for points. And he looks like he's gone a bit wide out of turn 12 or turn 11. I haven't had check. I believe that is turn 11. Yes, turn 11. That was turn 12, and this is turn 13, 14, and turn 15. DeLuca now comes to the final corner on the circuit. Turn 17, the long right hand. He goes and gets himself. Oh, he's in an invalidated lap time, but it would have got him, I believe, around P3 on the grid, showing. Oh dear, I did not see that jumper line in out of nowhere. A 14.0, a very, very good lap time from him. Florian, haven't seen him in the couple weeks last, but he's back now today, and he's P10 at the moment. A good lap from him so far. Jazzy at the moment. We're expecting a good race from him. Philip is at the moment just looks like out of fuel. Short now coming around, and he's about to finish his lap. He's 5 tenths up. What would he get? A 15.5. I'm not sure we'll be thinking about that. Looks like another scrappy lap from the Mercedes driver. We're expecting more top 10 than down in 14th, but practice could be his downfall at the moment. But Nick, an IR1 driver, has just gone and set P5 at the moment on a set of Hypersoft compound tyres. He'll be liking that, starting in the top 5. But Verstappen, a ILR4 driver, is ahead of him at the moment. I'm not trying to be salty, I'm sorry. Freddie up on his lap time by 3 tenths. If he can get that, that may be pole on the board. If he can get this final sector right, he goes through the final corner now. Will Freddie get pole? He's running to the line now, and he does go P2. About 300ths quicker than Brumadinho on his first lap, and that is a good lap from the Englishman in the Ferrari. Who else can we spectate? Wesley is on a lap as well with only 5 minutes left of the qualifying session. It's gone by so quickly, and Wesley is just going through the middle sector now. Veenstra is a bit further in the lap, and that's definitely invalidated his lap time. Gobsit coming to the line, and he's just gone 8 tenths quicker, but that will only bring him up 1 position on the grid with the Hypersoft compound tyres. Who else shall we have a look at? Wesley now coming through the final sector. Oh, that looks like he's definitely invalidated his lap time through that final sector. He comes to the line now. Will it be an improvement? He will not get an improvement because it was invalidated. Philip retires from the session with a 16.4, the slowest time at the moment in the session. Mike has a fatty now, just on his hour lap. So is Samu. Samu's new in the league, so I wish him a warm welcome to F1 League Cup. Hopefully he does watch the stream as well, and let's see what he can do this race. Hopefully get a points finish in his first race. Composites up on his lap by 0.04 of a second. Coming to the final sector now. Locks up into turn 12 and now turn 13. Does the Williams driver. Up the gears once again and back down again. Coming to the line now, and he's gone into the pits even though he was going quick. Oh, he's locked up there. Those tyres will be feeling it, but he does at the moment get to start on a new compound of tyre. Mike Azafati is on a lap at the moment, and we will keep an eye on that. Verstappen is also on a lap, his teammate right behind him, and that'll be something to look out for. Florian is also on a lap at the moment. We'll have a look at his progress coming through the final sector now, and he's on an out lap. Cheers, game. Sammy's starting his lap now, I believe. Short is on an out lap, and most people are on out lap, so I believe the first person to cross the line to improve on their lap time will be My Cat. Is a fatty, what a name, and what a spectacle. He comes through the stadium section now. His teammate is right behind him, so we will have to have a look at him after. But Mike Azafati comes to the line. Is it an improvement? It is not an improvement. Verstappen, his teammate, comes to the line. It is an improvement, and he's got pole. He's got a 13.890, a great lap, and he's beaten John Palainen by 2 tenths of a second. That is a great lap from the Dutchman. Samu. Oh, that's a very interesting angle as he goes through the middle sector now. Verstappen is really the disrupting party at the moment in these races as Samu comes through the last sector now. Jazzy's right in front of him. Hopefully he doesn't get in the way of the new driver. Coming through the final corner now. Will this be quick on a set of Ultrasoft? He comes to the line. This looks quick, and he goes P10 on a set of Ultrasofts. Only people who have beaten him on different tyres is Drop J on the Super Softs. Drop J really showing how quick he is. Only 8 tenths off with 2 tiers down on tyres. I'm stupid. Vicious on his lap at the moment. We haven't talked about him. He's coming through, and I believe it's just gone quicker. No, he hasn't gone quicker. That was his last lap, and he's starting his lap now. Short is on his lap at the moment. We've got 2 minutes left of the qualifying session. Conan coming to the line now. Is this an improvement? He does not get an improvement. 1.7 seconds off his fastest lap time. Florian in P9 hasn't made an improvement. It does look like there's a bit of a train here, so hopefully no one gets in the way. That's a Salvo as well, I believe, of DeLuca. No, it isn't, but he will be coming up to this. That's Samu. And it looks like a bit of a train coming through the middle sector there as Fretty does get out of the way. Oh dear, I see some weaving in front. It almost looked like a bit of a mishap there, but we will dwell past that. But Fretty is now coming to the final sector, and so is his championship rival DeLuca. Not really sure what he's doing. Looks like he's just giving himself some space. But everyone is now starting their final laps. Verstappen will not improve. He's coming into the pit, so John Palainen will be his arch enemy at the moment. Fretty is starting his lap now. John Palainen, I believe, is on an out lap, and he won't be able to do anything. Will Verstappen, but John Palainen is just on his out lap and getting ready. Fretty, though, is on his lap. Samu is going to start. The highest he will start is P12, but always look out for Drop J. But Drop J's in the pits. He will start on the super soft compound tyres. Nick, at the moment, could he be fighting for a winner? Short goes P5 with 14.4, much more to his standard. DeLuca, though, we need to really look out for him. But I think the main person that we need to look out for, Brumadino, will be the first person out of the top runners to go over the line. He is a reserve, but he's got that lovely pink helmet on for the race, and he's having a really good middle sector. Coming to the final sector now, as Nick has now retired from the session. Now Brumadino coming to the line as Florian Oppenheim and Drop J have finished their lap because they were in the pits. Now coming to the line as Wesley goes quickest. Wesley goes quickest, so this could be a battle to the line. He comes to the line. Brumadino cannot. No, he does improve, but only by 1/10. Fretty, though, can he improve? He doesn't go. He doesn't improve, and he's P5. Where is DeLuca in all of this? DeLuca coming to the line now. Will he be pole? He only goes P7. John Palainen, will he be able to disrupt things? It's him and Composite left to go. Composite is behind him, so it's John Palainen will be the first without these two to finish their lap. We see Veenstra as well, who needs to finish his lap as well, so we will keep an eye on him as well. But first, one of the top runners in this league, John Palainen. He's got podiums before. Will this be a pole for the Scandinavian? He does go pole. He gets a 13.5. Veenstra will not improve. Composite, oh, over the line he goes, and that will not be anything like what he would have wanted in this session. He will start P19, spinning in the pits and going into the pits at the end of this session. A top three that we haven't probably seen in this league so far, with John Palainen on pole, Wesley in second and Verstappen in third. No usual suspects until P5, 6 and 7. That is something that we haven't seen. But one thing that we do need to really look at is Drop J sent a 1:14.6 on a set of super softs. That is a great lap time by him to get him into P9. He will have a bad start, but he'll have a really good race ahead of him on an alternate strategy. So, at the end of the session today, we have John Palainen taking the front row, the pole, the P1 in qualifying. Second goes to Wesley, and third goes to Verstappen. Fourth, the reserve of Brumadino. Fifth is the championship rival of DeLuca, is Ferretti. P6 is short. A good lap at the end of the session from him. DeLuca is P7. Nick is P8. Drop J on those super softs is P9. And Woomaloo is P10. The rest are below. Philip setting the slowest lap time. 2.8 seconds off the fastest lap time today in the session. And as we load into the race, it's something that these drivers have seen a bit too often in this calendar. It's rain. It's raining, men, hallelujah. It's raining again in the more league where people probably have more assists off because they're trying to learn them, but a lot of people do have assists on. So this will really show today the men from the boys in this session. As it looks like it's going to be a light rain, yes, as people are starting on the intermediate compounds. But that really does make me question, why did Drop J go on the supers? But anyway, we will not dwell on that. And I just need to have a look if there has been any comments, because on my screen at the moment there has been no comments, but we will just quickly have a look. There are not any comments apparently. If anyone if anyone has commented, well, I'll just have a look on the stream as well. But if anyone is watching and quickly give me a comment if the forecast will change, that would be lovely, just to know what the strategies will be in this Grand Prix. Unless someone has, yep. Oh, here we go. There has been rain for the rain for the race. Stay tuned for this one. The point difference between DeLuca and Ferretti is 54 points. So Ferretti has to outscore DeLuca by at least 4 points to take the championship battle to Brazil, I believe. Thank you, Walsh Robert, for that. Derek, hello. And Simsy has said good luck, everybody. So, I'm not sure if anyone can in the comments very quickly just tell me if the forecast will get better during the race. That would be nice. But if not, it's okay, as it will be something to see. But we'll just keep on board with John Perlinen then, coming to the end of his lap then. Wesley, then Verstappen, then Brumadinho, then Ferretti, then Short, then DeLuca, then Nick, then Drop J, then Woomaloo, then Florian, then Opakonen, then Samu, the new guy, and Goldie, then Carp Crew, then Veenstra, who just ran off the track there. Mike Azafati in P17, Juzzy in P18, and that's a Taurus off the track. Florian, that looks like. Juzzy in P18, Comsit in P19, and rounding off today the grid is Philip Tem 1, 2, 3. He's now lining up, as everyone else is now lining up for the start of the Mexican Grand Prix. It's going to be a wet one, so let's have a look how these drivers cope into turn 1. Here we go then for the start of FLH Season 3B at Mexico. We go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go for the start of the Grand Prix. Everyone looks like they've had an okay start. There's been no drive-through penalties of the start. It looks like this could be a very big battle. There's almost 4 wide there going into the first corner. And, oh dear, my gosh, it's almost 5 wide going to turn 1. Hopefully no scraps as we ride on board with Brumadinho. There's been contact between Brumadinho and Shorts, as I believe Shorts just locked up. And everything looks pretty clean coming through the first few corners. We see a few people going wide. I believe that's Philip riding over the curb. And that's a 14-year almost off the track. But it looks all good as we see Short already trying to pass as he does lock up down into the first sector. But the main thing that we need to see is Ferretti has got the lead of this Grand Prix, and John Polina in P2 and DeLuca up from P7 into P3, and it looks like the people who are at the top are now nowhere near the top. Well, except for John Polina, who's in P2, but everyone's been spread out, and I'm not sure how this race is going to pan out. If anyone does know, please let me know the forecast, if it's going to change at all. But it looks like Wesley... Wesley's getting challenged from Nick there. Nick's almost trying to go to the inside. Brumidino is short. That's Brumidino trying to go to the inside of Verstappen. RB33 is going to try around the outside. And there's almost contact there between Short and Brumidino as Goldie gets past Jazzy, and Samu is right ahead of him, the pad driver, the one who works for the Mercedes team. He would have got tips from Valtteri and James as well. He'll be playing the team role as his teammate. Who is his teammate? Composite. We'll be saying Valtteri, it's James, but he won't be because he's a few ahead at the moment. But we see moves at the moment. P3 has been given up from John Polainen to De Luca. At the moment, Wesley may have to capitalise from this, but it looks like it's all clean running. There's no DRS, obviously, because we are in wet racing conditions at the moment. As we see a few people pick up front wing damage, including Florian, Oppenheim and Philip. It's not the end of the race for them. Rain for the whole race, according to Mike Azafati. That is not something that we want to see. We want to see some changeable conditions, but it looks like at the moment it's not going to happen. Sammy the P2, I'm going to just call you Sammy for now, up against Woomaloo. And it looks like at the moment Woomaloo is keeping that place for now. Everyone very close, and I expect it to be very close with quite a few laps on the board. Samu getting quite close to Woomaloo. He won't go for the move, surely into there, and he doesn't. Wesley right on the back of John Polainen now, and that is a move between Short and Drop J, and there's yellow flags. That is Jazzy. Jazzy's round. Jazzy, is that front wing damage? Doesn't look like front wing damage, but he has gone wide there, does the Ferrari driver. Meanwhile, the other Ferrari driver is right at the top of the field in P1 at the moment. Fretti, he's doing all he needs to do, but De Luca is right behind him. It looks like Philip has had a bit of an off at the moment, as Goldie has been overtaken by Samu. Goldie's going down the inside of Samu, and that is a move for the Williams driver. Verstappen. Oh, there's so many moves going on. It's Jazzy and Composite now in battle, and Jazzy looks like he's just gone down Composites inside into turn one. Jazzy's got that position for now, as Veenstra in front does go wide. Wesley is right on the back of Nick, and there's been no retirement so far, so that is something for 3B to collapse. We're 3 laps in, and there has been no retirements, but there's been 3 front wing changes or damages or whatever you want to call that. Welcome to the 13 people who are in the stream at the moment, but we just need to keep an eye on this race at the moment, as we're going to see a lot of people spread out, as this race will separate the men from the boys at the moment. Composite right on the back of Jazzy, and there's been yellows. That's Short. Short's hit the wall. Short's got front wing damage, and that is surely him out of any contention of getting anywhere near the top of this Grand Prix, as that is severe front wing damage. That's going to be red on the left. Oh, that is... Oh, Jazzy needs to get past him swiftly, as... Oh, that could be damage there. It could be desing, as Short does come into the pits for a new front wing. He will now go down the order. Goldie now right on the back of Woomaloo. This could turn into a bit of a battle. De Luca's been spun. De Luca has gone down many a position, and is that... Who's that? John Polainen. Looks like they're... Oh, I know what's happened there. John Polainen's obviously touched De Luca's inside, and he's just given that position back. Well, not giving the position back, just an apology really from the McLaren drivers. He's probably hit the back of De Luca and spun him, which has really cost De Luca any chance of wrapping up the title here. But we know De Luca can fight back, and we know that for sure. But it has John Polainen the same front wing damage? Not sure is my answer to that. Verstappen and RB33 and Brumidino going into battle, and that's Goldie out of the race. Goldie's out. Oh, there's been a massive crash there. Oh, that looks like a big crash from... Oh my dear, that's Veenstra involved in that, and Woomaloo as well. I'm not really sure what happened there, but that looked big. Wow, that was a crash and a half. As we now see Nick right on the back of Wesley, and Nick's up into P2 in this Grand Prix. Wesley may have to challenge him back down into first. Oh, there's more yellows. Everyone's like, that's Oppenheimer maybe? Oh, Florian Oppenheimer, that's Florian round. No one is liking these conditions, as Florian will have to come in for a new front wing. A lot of people pitting. A lot of people cannot deal with the pressure at the moment. We've got more yellows, with Philip now going slow. Don't know what Philip's trying there, but he's now doing donuts. And he spun it. That is not what you want. And he's now parked to the track, and Florian's out. Florian has given up in this Grand Prix, as Philip is just trying to struggle on. We've got 2 retirements now in this Grand Prix, as Philip's tyres are overheating like crazy, as Florian's just gone for a massive crash at the moment. Verstappen will not be happy. He's down in P6 at the moment. Drop J, who started P9, is ahead of him, and this is not what he wanted. He's lost a position in that battle, and I'm surprised there hasn't been a safety car. At the moment, he's got more yellows in sector 3. That's most probably for Philip. That most probably is for Philip, but we're not gonna put allegations towards him. But at the moment, this has been a very troubled start of the race. We've only, well, 4 people have now had to come into the pits to change front wings. Everyone else looks okay at the moment. It looks like Visha, does he have damage? It looks like, yeah, he must have damage. He's going very slow, and he's come into the pits. Brumadinho, Drop J changing positions out of turn 1 into turn 2. Drop J just trying to send it up the inside there. He may get a good switch back move, but it looks like at the moment he's got more yellows in sector 1 and sector 2. We've now, who's out? There's now Wimelo and Short. That is not in sector 1, and that's Brumadinho and Drop J also exchanging. Brumadinho, oh dear, that's not what I wanted. I'm sorry, lads. What's happened there then? Apparently I have no viewers now. There you go, back up to 11. Sorry guys for that. Did not mean to do that. I just slipped my foot onto my wheel as I'm literally resting at the moment. But don't you worry about that at all. We're still here live for the Mexican Grand Prix in Season 3B. John Polainen now closing up to the back of Samu P2. Oh dear, that's yellows in sector 3. Who's out for? That's Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's out of the Grand Prix as well. We've got yellows in sector 1 and sector 3 now. This is not looking good for the drivers. Really cracking under pressure here. And we're not even a quarter of the way through this Grand Prix. Verstappen is right on the back of Brumadinho, as we see Oppenheimer parked up there. He's not happy with his performance today, as he now does Verstappen. He's going to try and go around the outside, but he's going to hold that position for now, and he doesn't want to get any type of front wing damage. Oh, that's a very aggressive change of movements there, but he does use the pads, so that is kind of expected. So we've got more yellows in sector 3. Is that Short this time? Short spun it. He's obviously locked up, and he was not expecting that. The Mercedes driver just trying to hold on, as he's now down in P16. Has he got front wing damages? Phillips now retired as well. So we've had 4 retirements from this Grand Prix already. This is turning into a normal F1 League Cup lobby where there's about 16 drivers, but we're not going to dwell on that fact, because F1 League Cup is a strong league with a lot of races in it. We've had 2 20 people lobbies, and I'm proud of that for the league itself. More cooperation within the league, more admins, better job done. As Samu, John Polainen and Samu exchanging positions. They're going to be side by side down into turn 14 and 15 now. That was turn 13. A little hairpin. Samu has gained a position as Drop J has now gone and set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, as Wesley's now weaving around. This could be a podium for Drop J here, going down the outside, and he's just absolutely murked him, as Carp Crew will be the first, I believe, scheduled pit stopper. No, he's got a front wing change, so he's had some contact with someone, and both Mercedes have now had front wing changes in this Grand Prix. Looks like he's been caught up with Jazzy, as Jazzy has also got front wing damage. Composite just on his own at the moment, 40 seconds behind anyone at the moment. Samu, the P2, having a great debut. Even though he is a reserve, he's having a great race with John Polainen at the moment. With just so many overtakes happening at the moment, Fretti does run wide, he's 3 seconds clear of anyone though. Nick is in P2 and Drop J in P3, Wesley in P4, Brumadinho in P5, and Verstappen RB33 in P6. As I've just got a comment saying, do you have replays? No, this game doesn't have replay, sadly. I would love to see the crash and see and go in depth with it, but sadly this game does not have replays, and I'm really annoyed about that, because that would be a great addition to the game. Drop J setting the fastest lap once again, as Wesley is one of the first people to come into the pits. Is this a scheduled pit stop though? Looks like he's coming into the pits now and he doesn't have a pit crew. Yep, just looks like a scheduled pit stop with a glitch there, as Vinicius also retired from the Grand Prix. Vinicius obviously dropped it and has lost one of his tyres there. We're already down to 15 runners in this Grand Prix, and how many haven't made stops? That is, stop wise, we've only got 10 drivers who haven't made stops yet, so 10 drivers really in the competition for getting the points here, as so many people have already retired from the Grand Prix. We're having a battle here, as it looks like Brumadinho's tyres are losing temperature of some kind, as Verstappen is only a tenth behind him now, as he does run right over the curb there and onto the place where you shouldn't go, coming down into the stadium section now. Not the weather that you'd like to see down in Mexico, as Wesley picks up a 3-second time penalty. Not very good for his charge to get some good points today, as we've got more yellows in sector 2 and sector 3. Who's that for this time? That is for Mike Azafati, as he's been overtaken by Wesley now. Looks like he's had a bit of an incident as he's run wide. Brumadinho has now come into the pits and comes out again. Looks like this could be a 2-stop Grand Prix, as Brumadinho is coming to the pits. Wimalo is out of the Grand Prix as well. That's another retirement, as we'll have the spectate from Short's perspective. Looks like he literally carbon copied what Visha did. We'll have a look now, see if we can see his car. No, it looks like his car's already gone by, so it looks like a carbon copy move of Visha, and we're already down to 14 participants of this Mexican Grand Prix. Short now pitting again, and this is a scheduled pit stop, as he doesn't have to change a front wing, and he has picked up a 5 seconds time penalty though, so this race has just gone bad to worse, sorry, for the Mercedes driver. He started, I believe, in P4, and it's just gone downhill for him. But one person whose race has gone downhill but is starting to look like it's climbing, as Nick now comes into the pits, showing that this is really the turnover point of the Grand Prix. Verstappen also pits, and De Luca has pit as well, but De Luca has got a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That could really damage his result, and it just looks like absolute Fretti 52 domination at the moment. His practice has paid off at the moment. Excuse me, and too many P's, and I'm just feeling the tiredness of the P's. But I'm not going to talk about that. We only have 4 people who haven't stopped, and that's Fretti going very wide. Looks like he may pit at the end of this lap. Drop J right behind him. Well, when I say right, I mean 5 seconds behind. And John Polainen is in P3 at the moment, with having his little bump and grind with De Luca. Philip having given us a bit of an insight. The car wasn't drivable with the setup I went for. That was from Philip Tem, the person who retired in the P17 in the Grand Prix. It looked like he probably went for a dry setup for qualifying, and it could not meet the intermediate conditions of the race tonight. Our leader of the Grand Prix now comes to the pits and comes out very quickly, as that was a very big little spin there. I don't know if that was a graphic or just something else, but the camera is wobbling like we've never seen before. But we're not going to talk about that. Philip, just to answer your question, mate, Florian looked like he did give up from the Grand Prix after he had his little crash, and he felt like he didn't have any chance of reaching the points. That is not the attitude that we do like to see, but sometimes the frustration just gets over the drivers, and that's what happens. Freddie at the moment just holding on in there, but after the pit stops he will be ahead at the moment, because his pit stops about 22 seconds around here. That's my round estimate of the pit stop time, meaning that when Drop J comes out, he will come out just ahead of Wesley, if I have got that correct. As Mike Azafati picks up a 3-second time penalty, Drop J comes into the final sector and most probably into the pit lane as well, as we see him now come into the said pit lane, comes into the pits now. Does he have any penalty? No, he does not, so he will come to the pits now and come out of the pits very shortly, which means Freddie will inherit the lead again. And let's have a look. So Wesley, who's that? That's the Luca and Wesley. And when does Drop J come out? Drop J, as predicted, is ahead of the two drivers. Brumadinho up into P7 as John Polainen does have to pit. As we see Wesley and DeLuca exchange their positions out of turn 1, as Wesley does get overtaken by the Sauber driver. As Nick is actually very close now to Freddie. Looks like the undercut has worked for the Toro Rosso driver. As I'm just going to take a quick break, and I will be back for some more action for the Mexico Grand Prix. We're only just over a third into this race now, and we have 14 drivers left to go. 1 minute 6 separating them, as Short is just coming through turns 4 and 5 now, just showing the gap between him and Freddie. Looks like he may be lapped quite soon by the Ferrari driver. Verstappen does get... Verstappen looks like he's got a bit too deep into turn 1, and Wesley has gone for a switchback move and has kept that position for now. I don't know if I missed anything, but one thing I do know is that there's a very close battle as well between the Short and Composite. 7/10 separating the two drivers. This would be an easy move for Short if there was DRS active, but this is a wet race, so we won't be seeing any of that during the race. Verstappen only 4 tenths behind as well, but we'll have a look at Short first, because he looks like he's at the best opportunity to overtake Composite, and it looks like he's coming to the pits again for his third pit stop of the Grand Prix. Oh, is this what? He's gone into the supers. Short is making a gamble here. He's gone onto the super soft compound tyres. That's a big gamble. If any of the Short household are on this stream, could you tell me why he's done that? Because unless we are expecting it to dry up, I don't know what this guy is thinking. It does look like there's no spray though, so I can see where he's coming from. We'll just have to have a look at how quick he is compared to the drivers ahead of him. It does look like around the same pace as DeLuca in front of him. But this is looking very weird at the moment between Short and the rest of the field, as he is on the super soft compound tyres. Or is this just a strat where he's just like, I've given up, let's just try and see if they do go and they do improve. But it doesn't look like he's losing that much time to DeLuca, even though he's a lap behind him. Short now coming to the final sector. He does look like he's losing a bit of time, but not a lot. Like, he's only losing about, I'd say, a tenth. No, a bit more than a tenth. Maybe 5/10 of a second per lap. And if it does start to dry up, you never know. This could be something to have a look at, as Drop J does enter the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which does kind of show that it could be brightening up here into a dry race by the end of the Grand Prix. Nick 5/10 behind the leader of the race. We're not going to have a look at penalties because that could disrupt the action at the moment, but it looks like there could be a battle for the lead here between the R19 driver and also the rival of DeLuca in the championship. At the moment, Fretti is doing all he needs to do to stay in the championship battle, while DeLuca needs to outscore his Ferrari rival to win the championship today. But at the moment, it's looking like oh hello, Carp Crew's also pitted, and he's gone on to the super softs as well. Has there been a Mercedes call here? Has Wesley also pitted? Wesley's also gone onto the super softs, which shows, if let's just have a look at Short's lap times compared to the rest. Fretty's just gone and set a 27.6. What is Short setting? A 20. Oh, he's not finished his lap yet, but he is going fast in every single sector. Short's just our test dummy at the moment. Let's have a look at Short at the moment. That's not Short, is it? That's Carp Crew. Short is down, and he's just finished his lap. Let's have a look at his lap time. He's our dummy today. Has he just gone and set his fastest lap? Yes, he has. They are now on time and at the same speed as the guys on the Inters actually. So this looks like the changeover point in the Grand Prix to go onto the dry tyres. This is the changeover point that we've been looking for. DRS was enabled when I left it. That's why I did not see it. Did not see that. Learn to drive. I'm sorry, I did not see that. Short has just thrown the dice. And I'm sorry, I did not see that. DRS did get enabled while I was away, just grabbing a quick break. But I'm back for the action. We're only halfway through this Grand Prix, as DRS is enabled during still a wet session, a wet time on the track, whatever you want to say. But Drop J is only, oh look at this, there's only 9 tenths between them, but most probably all of them will be coming to the pits. But Fretty feels like he's still got pace on those tyres, on those intermediates. He feels like he still has some pace in them. Or is this a little strategy call? That could mean he can go to the end on his chosen tyres. He's come out of the pits now, has Nick, and also Drop J has as well. Both gone into the hardest tyres available to them of the Super Softs. They will go to the end So it's just a matter of will Fretty's pace be able to keep up, as Verstappen is also not pitted as well. He's on the inters as well, showing that the pace is still there for the intermediates, as it is still raining. Like, we can't take that off. It is still raining, as it does look like it is getting heavy, as DeLuca and Wesley have exchanged positions. It looks like DeLuca has not had the best of turn 1 there, and this could be a little strategy mistake here from either Drop J and Nick or Fretty. Has Fretty just made a call which is not good? We'll have a look what Fretty does at the end of this lap. His two competitors right behind him had pit, but will he pit, as he looks like he is losing a bit of grip out of turn 13, now coming towards the final few corners. He's coming to the pits now, is the leader of the Grand Prix. We will spectate him through this section, as Verstappen will most probably be pitting as well. There's a 22-second gap, so this is going to be close, as Verstappen will also pit. Fretty has now exited the pits. Where is Nick in all this? Nick is coming round the final corner. Where is Fretty? Fretty's... oh, this is going to be so close. Nick's coming to the line now. Fretty's coming out of the pits. This is going to be so close. This is going to be super close. Nick's already up to speed, and it looks like Fretty has held position, but Fretty has got cold tyres. Nick has got his tyres warm, as DeLuca has overtaken Wesley, and Verstappen is going to come out right in the middle of that sandwich. Fretty's only 5 tenths behind Nick now. This is going to be close. Nick's right there. We've got yellows in sector 2 and sector 3, but we do not care about that. Nick trying to go down the outside of the championship rival. The guy in P4's car crew has retired from the session. We don't really, we're not really looking for that as the moment. It does look like he was isolated in this Grand Prix. It looks like just a bit of a mistake from him, but this gap is too close not to be spectated between the two leaders of the Grand Prix. DeLuca in P4, 7 seconds behind this, but Fretty, the championship rival, needs to keep the championship alive by winning this Grand Prix. He doesn't want anyone like Nick right behind him, going to be his prey in this Grand Prix. Fretty looks like he's gone a bit wide there, but he's kept that on track, as Nick is just looking for the overtake. There will be DRS for the Toro Rosso driver going down into turn 1, so this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Nick now coming round the final corner. He will get the DRS most probably. We'll have a look at telemetry. He does get the DRS. He is in mode 4, as Brumidini and Wesley have exchanged positions as well. But this is an exchange for the lead of the Grand Prix between Nick and Fretty, with Drop J right behind. Fretty will keep hold of that, but Fretty's run wide, and that could be also P2. Looked up, Fretty goes down the inside, and he's lost that position, and Drop J's had to slow down there, but Fretty has just given up P1 to Nick, and Nick is now in the lead of the Grand Prix. Brumidino looks like he's lost something. Oh, Wesley's coming to the pits again. Looks like Wesley has had some damage as he comes in for his third pit stop of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Composite and Short, looks like Composite just let Short by there, knowing that he's on the slower compound tyres. Looks like what he wants to do is just hold on with those inters, even though he knows they're a bit slow, and maybe go onto a set of ultras for the end of the Grand Prix. Ultras can go around 12 laps, but will he come into the pits? He's not coming into the pits, is the Williams driver. I don't know why he isn't using his ERS really. Lots of drivers, even though it is a wet race at the moment, you can be using a lot of more ERS than you are at the moment, putting it down in number 1, as Fretty's given up another position. He's now down into P3. Drop J right on the back of Nick now. The DRS is just so powerful around here. This could be another move for the lead. Drop J now going for the lead, and he's got it. And that is a move for the Renault driver, the reserve driver, and he's now in the lead of this Grand Prix. But he will not get a podium interview, sadly, as he did not, as he's not in this league, and he's only a reserve driver. Nick in P2 at the moment, and Fretty in P3. DeLuca will get a podium interview at the moment in P4, but he will be promoted to P3. At the moment, Nick will be getting those 25 points, but Fretty surely does need them. to have any chance of beating DeLuca in this Grand Prix. DeLuca only 4 seconds behind them. Verstappen only 1.8 behind that. But one thing I'm really wondering is, will this rain stop, or is it just the lightness that influences these drivers to go onto the super soft compound tyre? All the gaps are now spreading out, with Nick over a second behind Drop J, and everything now starting to spread apart with these super softs on. I would have thought it would have come a bit closer together because of DRS being involved. Will Nick get the DRS? He will not benefit with the DRS this lap, but he is under a second now. Drop J does set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, showing how he really does want to get that lead out and get anywhere in this Grand Prix of Mexico. There's only a 9/10 gap between them with 14 laps to go in this Grand Prix. That's around 20 minutes, so stay tuned, guys. It'll be an 8:20 end to the race. A lot of laps, but a lot of heated racing going on here between Drop J, Nick, Freddie, DeLuca, and Short rounding off the pack. Hopefully getting up a lot of positions. I'm just going to go back onto the stream. Oppenheim has left the session. Oppenheim is out of the Grand Prix. But we're just going to hold on at the moment. Let's see if anyone's made a comment that I haven't seen, because I haven't been on the stream recently. We've got 12 viewers at the moment. Thank you very much for these 12 viewers. Let's drive. Whoa, Renault went off. That would have been Woomaloo. Woomaloo went off apparently. Not sure when he did that, but Philip looks like he is spectating the race. But he said that 6 minutes ago, and I believe Woomaloo came off a bit further than that, but I don't know about that. I'm just going to stop talking. Nick, not within a second of Drop J again, unless DRS has been disabled again that I haven't seen. Let's just go have a look. I don't know if I can actually see it from here, but I'll just have a look. Look how many collisions there's been and everything. But yeah, we cannot see with these clips. There's loads of people who have picked up penalties. So many. How many Dutch guys in the race? Too many. Let's have a look. So Dutch guys, we've got one, two. I'm just going to say there's a lot. A lot of them also race in League A as well, but another Dutchie who, there's just too many at the moment. But the main Dutchie at the moment near the top is Drop J in P1 at the moment. A Dutchie is winning, and the Dutchie is in P5 at the moment, with a British in P2, a British in P3, and a Scotsman in P4 in this Grand Prix. John Polainen down in P7. He's a Scandinavian, I believe, from Finland. One of the flying Finns. Or was it Sweden? One of the two, Sweden or Finland. I believe it's Finland he's from. But anyway, we're not going to talk about people's countries, as we have a race to finish with 12 laps to go. We're 2/3 of the way through the Grand Prix now, with gaps starting to close again due to the fact that everyone is starting to separate, as well. Everyone's starting to use DRS again, but I don't really know what Composite's doing here. He's just losing more and more time to other drivers. Oh, there's been a move. I did not see that. I'm sorry. So in Brumadinho, and Brumadinho's gone wide, and he's just done a Lewis Hamilton, has mowed the grass, and he's got a 10-second time penalty. Brumadinho will not be wanting that. He's picked up a 10-second time penalty, and that could demote him, but he is a reserve anyway. But he would not want that. If he was a full-time driver, he would be complaining to the stewards all day long. He has given the position back, but there's no point in arguing, as he is a reserve driver. But that is one load of a penalty to receive. And Drop J and Nick are still in a battle for P1. I know I wouldn't say it, but I think I do have to. As Wesley retires from the session. Wesley's somehow binned it. Jesse's the only person that we can really look at. Looks like I don't know if he's given up. Looks like he's dropped it out of turn 3. And Wesley's out of the session, which means we only have 12 drivers from 28 have retired from the session. And we've only got 12 left in this Grand Prix. Nick up in P2 at the moment, fighting for the lead of the race, but he is already in the lead of the Season 3B race, so he's got nothing to worry about at the moment. He's got a 4-second gap to the rest of the field, but we're just going to have to check penalties, aren't we? We just are. Drop J is on 1 warning in the whole race. Nick is on 2 warnings the whole race. Fretty is on 2 warnings. DeLuca is on 2 penalties. And Verstappen is on 3 penalties, with a 4th one coming up. And Brumadinho's retired. Brumadinho has retired as well. Everyone's seeming to retire now. We're down to 11 drivers in this Grand Prix, with 11 laps to go. This is now looking pretty shocking. Almost half the grid have retired from the session. Brumadinho retiring from the Grand Prix. I don't know if that was just, I think he may have dropped it in the same place as Feenstra, but whatever's happened, I don't know. Well, sorry for the interruption. I was just looking at the comments. MGK, I say drop J, you say different. Apparently drop J's handy or something, I don't know. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. Drop you, I don't know. Drop J, drop you. I'm going to call him Drop J, because I've always called it Drop J. But Nick is still right behind him. Oh, Nick's had a better run out of turn 5 into turn 6 and 7. And it looks like at the moment Drop J is holding on to that position. 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Gaps start to spread out once again, with how many retirements? Is that 9 retirements in this Grand Prix now? And one thing that I'm proud of is Mr. Short here is going to pick up points. Mike Azafati will pick up points. Jazzy will pick up points. Samu, in his opening race, will pick up points. John Polainen will pick up points. All these drivers, except for Composite, at the moment, unless there's another crash, will pick up points in this Grand Prix. As we now see the top 2 of the Renault and the Toro Rosso. Toro Rosso, best car on the planet, and Renault not far behind it. Nick's just trying to find any way to get past Drop J at the moment. He's just trying anything possible, as we can now see a dry line appearing on the circuit, but he's just not close enough at the moment. But he has got DRS and a ZRS. Will he be able to go to the inside? No, he's just going to hold on for now. He's locked up there, but it's all good though for the driver. Literally using no brakes, and he's picked up a 3-second time penalty in the process, which gives Drop J a bit of a sense of relief if he does check Jeff at all. But one thing we do really need to look at is how much Nick is applying the brakes. He's literally not even half applying the brakes here, as Drop J as well in front. I believe they're both no ABS users. Oh, look at that. Nick's really gone for the trying to do ABS there, but he's almost just not applying any brake pressure there whatsoever. Fretty in P3 at the moment. DeLuca in P4. It stayed like this for a lot of laps now. I don't know how Jazzy's got 47 seconds behind, but somehow he has. And yeah, Mike Azafati picking up a 3-second time penalty as well. Drop J and Nick, only 3/10 separates the top 2. I'm surprised Fretty hasn't been able to catch up on these 2 in the Grand Prix, with 8 laps to go in the Grand Prix. Nick, Fretty, DeLuca, as Verstappen RB33 left the session. He has left the session. If anyone is able to Brumadinho has just lost it. So Brumadinho just dropped it. I said it. Interesting race at the moment for the drivers. So it's Drop Ya. I'm going to call him Drop J though, because I like that name. But anyway, it's a very interesting race at the moment. Thank you for tuning in so far, as I'm just going to have a look at some of the Discord, see what the drivers are saying, and see if there's any seeing anything going on. DeLuca will be Season 3B champion if it stays like this. Apparently DeLuca at the moment will be Season 3B champion. Hang on, if I do the maths correctly, so there's a 41 point gap. No, 51 point gap. I don't know how many points it is, but he needed to outscore by 4 points, and it's only 3 points. So Fretti will lose the championship this race, and DeLuca will be our championship winner. Oh, Verstappen got an error code, and that's really ruined his race now. He's down in P6, and that's not what you want in your sandwiches. We've got yellows in sector 1. Who's that for? We're not sure. We're going to keep looking until we find the yellow. Who got the yellow? Don't know who's got the yellow there. Oh, that's Verstappen moving down another position. Stewards now. What am I saying, Steward? I'm stupid. DeLuca has picked up another 3-second time penalty. How many is he on compared to John Polainen? John Polainen is on how many penalties? That is one. The 2 penalties, I believe, for him. That is 1 penalty and 2 penalties. DeLuca is on 1, 2, 3 penalties. DeLuca at the moment will win the championship. Oh, sorry, I did not see that. Nick has gone into P1 and has overtaken Drop J for the win of the Grand Prix at the moment. He will get DRS once again. Will the Toro Rosso driver? So Drop J needs to stay with him. I'm sorry for the boring commentary recently. I've just been reading comments and all of that. But Drop J has lost the lead of the race. We've got more yellows. Oh, that's Mike Azafati. He's dropped it and he's down in P10. Don't really want to be dropping into neutral, but for the Red Bull driver, he's lost any chances of taking P9 now. Short is only 5 seconds behind Jazzy, and this could be P8 for him, which would be a great recovery drive from him, considering he's had to take one more stop in the early laps of the Grand Prix. Drop J second, Nick first. There's a 6th, 10th gap between the two of them. They're on both the same tyres. They're on the same ERS modes, literally. But the one advantage Drop J has, as he has got the DRS on Nick. Nick is literally swerving around to try and cut it, but it looks like at the moment Drop J is advancing, but if not into the here, he'll get it into turn 4. Look at how close they are now. This looks like this could be a dumb move down into turn 4 if Drop J can get turn 3 right. He looks like he's got this. He's got the move on lockdown. It's coming up Millhouse for him, and he's gone down and has retaken the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix, but he's had a bit of a squirm there. Nick may be able to go around the outside. He has. Nick has had a great move around the outside, but he's gone right down the inside. Has Drop J. They're going to be side by side once again. We're going to ride on board with Nick here. He's got to yield, has Drop J. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't yield. And Nick, at the moment, he's giving Drop J all the room in the world. And that looks like a position for Nick. Nick has retaken the lead of the Grand Prix. And Drop J at the moment is in P2. The only battle at the moment between the top two. Come on, Fretty. If Nick finishes P1, Goldie is going to kill me. I don't know why that is. Why is Goldie going to kill you? Oh. Flung my across the room. But who the hell cares? We've now got Drop J and P1 utilising the DRS system. I was the one that caused a huge crash. Oh dear. Wimberley caused a huge crash. Oh, that's not good. But Drop J is now in the lead of the Grand Prix, and 50 points between Nick and Goldie at the moment. So Fretty, in terms of Wimberley, needs to win this race. There's a 3-second gap between them. But on penalties, this could actually benefit Fretty. Fretty is on... He hasn't got a penalty, I don't think, as Fretty. We'll just have a look once again. Fretty does not have a penalty. And Nick has picked up the 1 penalty. And he's got 2 more warnings, which means Fretty only needs to catch up 9/10. And he will lead the Grand Prix. Because Drop J is obviously a reserve driver today. Has Verstappen rejoined the session? Verstappen has rejoined the session. That's good for him. But he's down in P7. And it looks like he will stay there. 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Drop J only 3 attempts ahead. Oh, Drop J's almost dropped it. And there's first he looks like he's lost time. He probably doesn't know about the penalty. If he could just hold on that tiny bit more, it could be the race win for the Ferrari driver. He's just got not to get a penalty, and Nick just needs to hold on. If he keeps fighting, this could be the end for Nick's chances of getting the win today. Fretty, 3.2 seconds behind now. This could be a battle of penalties at the end of the Grand Prix. Fretty just needs to hold on and just gain 7/10 of a second, which is easily doable when 2 people in front of you are battling 8/10 between him and the lead of the Grand Prix. Nick is just right on the back of Drop J. Drop J just showing amazing pace during this Grand Prix. These tyres must be going off now for the 2 front runners. Will Nick be able to benefit from the DRS? That's one thing that Fretty does not have on his side. DRS, he has got none of it. But 3.6 seconds is the gap. Nick will now be able to close up to Drop J. It's a 6/10 gap. It most probably won't be shortened by the end of turn 1. He now breaks, does the Englishman in the Toro also, coming down into turn 1 and turn 2, taking a very obtuse angle of entry, as there's only a 5/10 gap between Fretty and the win of this race. Nick is so close to the back of Drop J as well, with 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix. This is going to go down to the wire. Fretty just needs to gain that tiny bit of time. He will be able to win this Grand Prix if he just gains up 7/10 of a second. Nick Canose just has to hold on, and he has got the win on points in this Grand Prix. Fretty needs to get the win for his championship, otherwise this man, DeLuca, at the end of Mexico, will be your winner. Nick has got a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, and that could be the end of it. Nick is down in he's going to be, he could almost be P4. He just needs to hold on now. Now it's a matter for him of not losing too much time, as it looks like Fretty will take the win of this Grand Prix on penalties. So Nick has picked up that 5-second stop go penalty with 2 laps to go. He will be absolutely kicking himself. There's only an 8/10 gap between them, but Fretti, he may know, he may be watching the stream, he may know that he could be in the chance, he could have a chance of winning this Grand Prix. We've got yellows in sector 1, as we've got a lot of drivers now spread out. We've just got to wait and see what the final results are, because this is going to be an interesting podium. But we do know at the moment Drop J is on for the win. Well, he is a reserve, but he's on for the win. 11 drivers at the moment are going to finish, but Drop J is now coming for his final lap to start in that Renault. Nick is behind at 1.5 seconds. 3.4 is behind that is Fretti, and 3.6 behind that is DeLuca 96 at the moment. He will win the championship if penalties were not taken into consideration. DeLuca, you could, so whatever happens, if Fretti will get the win, which means DeLuca will not be able to wrap up the championship this race. Yes, that'll be right. Nick will not. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to say what I can see now. Going through this final few laps, I've just had an epiphany that at the moment, due to Drop J being a reserve driver, Fretti will still be in the championship charge going into the second final round of the season in Brazil. But now we just have to look at Drop J. He's had an absolutely marvellous race, starting in P9, and he's going to finish on the top step of the podium in P1 tonight. Nick will claim P2 at the moment, but Fretti will get P1 on the winners. Oh dear, that's a crash and a half, and that's P4 for DeLuca. So Fretti did get P2 and DeLuca got P4, so technically Fretti got the 25 points and DeLuca only got 15, which means the championship gap got smaller by 10 points. John Palainen got P5 in the end of that. 6th goes to Samu on his debut, and 7th, sadly, Verstappen RB33 after his little DSC will finish at P7. P8 is Jazzy, P9 is Short, P10 is Mike has a fatty, and P11 will be Composite. So, one thing to say at the end of this race. Oh no, wait, no. I'm not sure. So Fretti will get 25 points. But Composites coming to the line now to finish the race. Don't know why he's done the whole race on Inters, but he has. And he's now come to the line. So, the championship has not been finished here. It will run on into the next round of the championship because of this driver right here. If he wasn't a reserve, DeLuca would have the championship right now, but Drop J has won the Grand Prix. P2 has gone to Fretti, and P3 tonight is Nick. I will also invite DeLuca to the party as well. So here we go then for the final results today as I pick up 2,500 XP. Thank you very much. Drop J does get P1. Fretti goes and gets P2. Nick P3. DeLuca P4. John Polainen P6. No, P5. Samu P6 on his debut. P7 goes to Verstappen RB33. Jazzy's P8. Short is P9. Mike Azafati is P10, and Composite is P11, and the others all retired from the Grand Prix, including a big crash with Woomaloo and Goldie. A lot of people just couldn't stand the intermediate conditions, as I will now invite the top 4 for the podium interviews. And there you go then. That is the end of the Mexican Grand Prix. A very wet one it was. And he has not taken the championship. The new gap will be 44 points. If anyone does in the stream have any questions to ask the podium drivers and also the reserve of Drop J as well, please do leave them in the comments below, and I'll ask the drivers. Make sure to put your the person you want to ask a question to as well in the comments. If you do want to ask anything tonight, I'm just going to wait to see if DeLuca and Drop J join, and then we will start the podium interviews. We'll just give them around 30 seconds. Just make sure while we're waiting, just make sure your voice is on always allow. And if they don't join within, let's say, a minute, I'll give them another invite just in case. Because otherwise, if they do miss out on the podium interviews when they don't want to, that would be a shame. So I'll just invite them both again. So if anyone doesn't have any questions, please ask. Meanwhile, we will start with the net leader after reserves are taken away. Then, as it doesn't look like DeLuca and Drop J will be joining the podium interviews at the moment. So it doesn't look like any questions have come through. So we will start with you, Fretty. Had a very, very quiet race, I do believe. But you just stayed there, very consistent. And you have made sure that the championship has not been wrapped up tonight. And there's, I believe, according to Walshabert, a 44 points difference in the championship. So how was that race for you?
Yeah, pretty well. It might have looked pretty straightforward, but anything but. Yeah, the target obviously after the disappointing races is just win the last 3 races and see what happens. So yeah, we're still in with a slim chance, but while ever we're in it, we'll keep going. The start was pretty immense, really. Sort of straight into third from P5, even before sort of getting the toe. And then I was boxed in a bit, so just threw it into turn 1 and somehow came out in front. Had good pace on the inters, and then I don't know whether it was a glitch or what, but it was like stuck literally between inters and slicks the whole race. Nothing really seemed to work. And obviously Nick got past, but I was aware on the radio that he had 3-second penalty, and then had the stream on to grab the 5-second one at the end, and it was just managing it from that point. We're on 2 warnings for pretty much from when we put the slicks on, so just making sure we didn't get that third one was a bit stressful, but got there in the end.
Yeah, it looked like quite a intense race from the cockpit of yourself, obviously trying to not get that third penalty. So I don't know if that was a glitch or not with the game, but a very weird weather setting there. Was there any moment except for the lap one that you really enjoyed in the race?
Not really, no. No, it was just pretty much permanent oversteer throughout the whole race, and yeah, nightmare really. uh, yeah,
Did you load
that's pretty
a
much all I got to say.
did you load a dry or wet setup for the race, or did you go for like a in between one?
Well, I'm definitely on the side of sort of race setups rather than time trial setups, even for the dry. So it's pretty stable. I kept it pretty much at what it would be for the dry. We had good pace in quali. I messed up the last lap in the final sector. Other than that, would have been probably second or third, which is a lot better than what we were yesterday. So setup changes definitely worked. I probably preferred a dry race, but mixed it up a bit and came out with a win, so can't complain.
Yeah, you cannot complain with that. Well done for getting P1 and staying in that championship fight. You've just got to make sure DeLuca now doesn't score 6 points uh, in the last races. You need to get those wins, otherwise there's no chance of you winning in the championship. But the championship fight is still on. Well done for you for getting that first place after obviously Drop J with his reserve spot is kicked out of the standings. Well done for
There's
that.
just one point actually to
Yep.
go on that.
Yep.
When Nick got past, that was entirely tactical to let Trottier go with him because I knew I didn't have the pace at that stage of the race. So I thought if I can keep
Yeah,
those two
yeah.
battling, it can come back to me. Definitely
Okay.
did. No, Nick got past me genuinely on pace, but Trottier was right behind me at that point. So I thought, not battle him. I'll let him go and battle Nick instead.
Alright, okay, so that bit of tactics there. Well done for the win. And we'll go on to the other guy in the party who's just cooking himself up a bit more there. Nick, well done to you for getting that position of
Yeah.
P2, yes, P2 after everything happened with all the standings and everything, with all the reserve drivers. Well done to you. Obviously, you must have been very irate that you did get that 5 second time penalty at the end. You could have got P1. Uh, but uh, but P2 was the highest you could have finished today. How was that race for you?
It was a good race, yeah. The first few laps was a bit chaotic out front, so I just stayed back and just yeah stayed back, and then so DeLuca and John Polainen they crashed, and it meant me, Fretty, and yeah, just me and Fretty were out front, so I just tried to catch him up. Didn't really have the pace, so I just decided to go with the undercut, so I went 2 laps earlier because that would really make a difference, and I it did work because I was around I'd say 1.5 seconds after Fretty after the undercut, and then from then on I was just staying behind Fretty, and then DRS came, so I didn't want to attack, so I wasn't sure, I didn't have the straight line speed, and then the dries, it was time for dries, and Fretty didn't pit surprisingly. I don't know why, but me and Dropay did, but it didn't really have an effect because the pace was around the same, I'd say. And then a few laps, and I passed Fretty. It was a good battle, and then I let Dropay through because I didn't want to battle him either, and decided to use him as a tow. Got like 5 seconds away from Fretty, and then decided to battle Dropay a bit just for fun because put a sh put a show on for the fans, as you know. And on the like 34th lap, I think, right at the end of sector two, at the start of the stadium section, turning to the when you're turning into the right hander, I I was on the line. I don't think I really deserved that penalty, and I might might appeal, uh, and then yeah, that's it really. P2.
Well, yeah, that was thanks for that review. I'm just looking at that video right now. You sent it to the chat, and I'm sorry to say this, Fretty, but it does look like it may have been a bit undeserved from him. if he does appeal that, you never know, that could be the championship over. But I'm not going to say anything now, but that could be one thing to review later on. But did you go for a wet strategy or not a wet strategy, a wet setup or a dry setup?
So I decided to go one up on the rear wing and leave the ballast at 8 and just bit in between so that I wouldn't be too far back in quali and too far back in the race, and that seemed to work well. So yeah,
Alright. Alright, so it's just a bit of a mix setup there
yeah.
in the setups, but that is preferable because you also have the pace in quali and the race. But also, just one more thing. What was your favourite part of the race?
I'd say, well, definitely not the time I got the 5 second penalty. Uh, I don't know. Maybe the undercuts when I attempted the undercut on lap 10, and I gained like a second or so and a second and a half from Fretty, and that really gave me like hope and hope to was showed that I could uh, catch up to him, and which I did, and it led to the P1 or P2 technically.
Just on those two undercuts, the first one out, the first stop, I was still running the standard sort of strategy every 12 laps. I don't know if Nick knew something about the potential for slicks that I didn't, but if it had stayed wet the whole way through, I think we'd have been on the optimum strategy there. The second one, it was right on the edge of whether to change or not, and just coming out the final corner and literally just past the pit lane, and had Jeff on the radio saying to go in for the slicks, and then saw Nick and
Yeah, I had
Trotway
him.
going in behind. So yeah, it was last minute.
He said it to me on the stadium section again, just in front of the pits for some reason. But yeah, so
Yeah, it was
Jeff
too
saving
late
our
for me.
race. And yeah, and so I think your tires were really cold, and mine were like I think that's why I was able to stay with you so easily because you had really cold tires. I felt, and yeah, yeah,
Well, anyway, thank you for you two for joining the podium interview. Sadly, we couldn't get the third place. DeLuca, who's almost gonna win the championship, but we'll have to wait for the next round in Brazil to see if he can wrap it up there. Thank you for watching tonight. FLH Season 3B, round 19 in Mexico. Your race winner tonight was Drop J, but after obviously he's a reserve, so the race winner tonight was Fretty. Well done to the boys tonight for their racing. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.